Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's and Gold's Gym. Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Sakurako Halstead.
And I'm Dan Shore. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories.
Governor David Apatang talks about recovery in the Marianas.
Also, tonight's Liberation Day festivities have been officially canceled.
And a House resolution to reclaim Marianas deep sea territory is passed.
And in sports, it's opening day in the Saipan schools. Let the games begin.
Stay with us. These stories and more are next.
The new Red Bull Dragonberry Energizer is now at McDonald's.
Every journey begins with one step and the right coach. At Gold's Gym Saipan, our certified personal trainers build programs that move with you. Your goals, your pace, your power. Stronger, healthier, more confident, together. Your best starts right here at Gold's Gym Saipan. Visit us in Garapan or call 670-233-4000. Gold's Gym Saipan, stronger with every rep.
Hafaday, Tirawami, and good evening, Commonwealth.
You are watching the Channel 2 News on August 21st from our studios high up on Capitol Hill.
Disaster recovery continues as more federal aid is being worked on. We hear from the governor. The Marianas is still in recovery mode following Super Typhoon Sinlaku and Super Typhoon Bavi. Through a direct hit, Super Typhoon Bavi devastated the island of Rota. Governor David Apatang says Friday last week he, along with CUC Executive Director Kevin Watson, FEMA Restoration Task Force leader Mark Wingate, and other officials flew down to Rota to tour the island's power plant to assess ongoing recovery operations and discuss restoring Rota's electrical grid.
Hopefully, we can get the contract for the new generator out of the Attorney General's office soon, so they can start replacing one of the engines in Rota.
Meanwhile, he says the debris cleanup operations has run into some challenges.
You know, we have 100 or 90 days on the emergency declaration when we're running out of time, so because of the situation, how to get equipment back and forth to Rota, you know, it's so hard. We're falling behind right now, so hopefully next week we'll start sending some equipment down to Rota and award somebody the contract to do the cleanup down there.
A presidential major disaster declaration was approved for Super Typhoon Bavi on August 3rd. Public assistance is made available for all three islands, while individual assistance is made available for the residents of just Rota.
At the time we asked for that declaration is because of the issue in Rota, that Typhoon Bavi went over directly over Rota. So we did suffer here, but not as much as Rota. So until we complete all the assessments and all that, then I'm sure FEMA will take a look at what we asked for Saipan and Tinian also.
Okay, so there are asks from our government for Saipan and Tinian?
To consider Saipan and Tinian, yes, we did. Yeah.
Okay, so just wait.
So just do some, like, people who have, were help with the temporary roofing, but when Bobby came and some of those roof just got blown away, and some of the people need help also still here in Saipan. So hopefully those things can be considered.
Apatang says he's been receiving some inquiries about the disaster unemployment assistance that is still pending.
I know people are asking for the DUA. We're still working on that. Secretary of Labor keep following up on those things. I even mentioned that to the FEMA people, and hopefully GAR will probably ask that question too in Hawaii. So we're following up on that issue also.
The governor says he's hoping it doesn't take too long for the 100% reimbursement cost share from FEMA to come in.
Right now we spend close to about $8 million out of our own local operation, which actually were beyond our funding availability. So hope we continue to ask FEMA to see if we can quickly reimburse us so we can be, at least on a balanced budget. So our GAR is still working very hard. As a matter of fact, it's in Hawaii right now in meeting with FEMA and our Homeland Security Secretary. So they'll be back Sunday, and we'll see where they're at on some of the assistance that we asked.
Liberation Day festivities for the island of Saipan have officially been canceled. Originally scheduled for the 4th of July weekend and delayed by Super Typhoon Bobby, the Liberation Day parade rescheduled for this coming weekend has officially been canceled. Tropical Storm Sodal, though not forecast to reach typhoon winds, is still a potential threat to Saipan residents. Jaden Sanchez, PIO for the Saipan Mayor's Office.
Well, again, it was a really tough and difficult decision made by the mayor. He didn't make that decision without consultation. He did have consultation with the National Weather Service. He talked with the Liberation Committee. He weighed his options. Again, it was not an easy decision to make. We understand that a lot of people are disappointed. We humbly apologize to our community. I know they were looking forward to this festivities after what they've been through, but public safety will always be a top priority.
Festivities will be scheduled for the 81st Liberation Day on the weekend of July the 4th next year.
The process for potential deep-sea mining in our backyard waters continues to move forward. The CNMI is currently in Step 4 of the United States Bureau of Ocean Energy Management's regulatory pathway for outer continental shelf mineral leasing. Chief of Staff Henry Hofschneider and CNMI Bureau of Environmental and Coastal Quality Administrator Floyd Mosca share the updates.
This step is not to authorize anyone to go out there and start harvesting or removing nodules from how many thousands of meters under the surface. It's to explore, to conduct more environmental assessment.
On July 10, the Department of Interior reunified BOEM with the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement into the Marine Minerals Administration, or MMA. On August 17, MMA announced Step 4, a proposed leasing notice, or PLN, which is said to outline the terms and conditions for the potential sale, including blocks under consideration, information to lessees, and proposed lease stipulations.
There's 6 areas that are proposed to be leased, so this is may not be just one company. It could be 6 companies that may come in. And one of the things as well is that those economic provisions that were stated in the stipulation with regard to hiring folks, using the ports and expanding the ports, for example, as well as businesses to be used around. So those are some of the benefits that they state in the stipulation.
The original proposed area during Step 1, the request for information, only indicated the east side of the Marianas as potential area. During Step 2, identification of areas, the west side of the islands were also included.
So I think the eastern side, the closest point from the delineated boundary of the mining site. Our island is like 127 miles, right? The western side, I know I read somewhere
It's 50 something.
57 miles.
Yeah.
The areas are within the Exclusive Economic Zone, or EEZ, and is federal jurisdiction. Governor David Apatang now has a 60-day review and comment period.
I think the governor is given up to October 19th to submit his comments.
The governor, he has made a stance with regard to how this process and how serious it is when it comes to protecting the Commonwealth. So the people need to come back as well and speak up too if there's any comments they want to add. And there's the agencies that are involved that they can go to as well to communicate.
The information regarding the process and potential leasing is made public and can be found on BOEM's website at boem.gov.
The Bureau of Ocean Energy Management has approved the deep-sea mining lease of the Northern Mariana Islands outer shelf. Your House of Representatives say they will not let the Marianas be wiped out by a tidal wave of indifference to your needs. BOEM approves a lease to begin deep-sea mining in the Marianas Shelf. Governor Apatang, in a letter to the U.S. government, states that, quote, "Our administration approaches this announcement with extreme caution," unquote. Yesterday morning, in a House resolution, our Congress goes much further. Floor Leader Marissa Flores.
Nowadays, they define it as resource colonialism. And what that means is it's the practice where powerful nations or corporations enter marginalized regions or indigenous lands to extract natural wealth, such as minerals, oils, or timber, leaving local populations with severe environmental damage, economic inequality, and little to no financial benefit. And that is exactly what is happening. And where are we at the table? That's what's happening. It's real. It's not fake. And I think Representative Aldan made it very clear that, our brothers and sisters in the Marshall Islands had suffered under the guise of national security and affected their people. These are our brothers and sisters of the Blue Continent. We definitely don't want to have that occur and happen to our people of the Marianas. Absolutely not.
Puerto Rico, Vieques Island, live bombing. One individual got killed. One. Guess what the people of Puerto Rico did? They shut down the base. They all protested. Live bombing range got shut down. Next thing you know that followed, Roosevelt Road military base got shut down. Why? Because the people didn't want it anymore. Can we do the same? Yes, we can. Can we demand? Yes, we can. Can we fight? Yes, we can. But before we do any of that, let's open up the books and let's start reading and educating ourselves. Because I'm pretty sure nobody here wants to get shortchanged. And I sure as hell damn know that I do not want my children or your children to be shortchanged for that matter. These people in the mainland with their $1 million backers, okay, don't care. They don't care.
I don't think it's recreating, but I think we need to come back and redefine what this relationship looks like. The document is live, the covenant is live, and maybe we need to update the language because we're leaving it to hundreds of people in Washington to interpret what that covenant means. You should be asking us, because the covenant is our document, and that's important to us. That establishes our political union of the United States.
And the original document, pre-2008, spoke about surrounding waters. It never mentioned anything about 3 miles. When they started giving the limits to like Puerto Rico, American Samoa, Guam, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, they implemented 3 miles on them. But, you know, we're lumping this theory that we're just a territory. The Sinai is not a territory. The Sinai is a true commonwealth. That's a big difference between any of the other island nations that are under the United States, such as Puerto Rico, American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Guam. You know, so we got to make that clear.
House resolution to affirm the Commonwealth's interest in submerged lands, recognizing Commonwealth rights, is passed unanimously.
FYI, Rhoda residents, if you have suffered roofing damage during Super Typhoon Bobby, the Rhoda Mayor's Office, in collaboration with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Temporary Roofing Program, has begun accepting applications starting today. You can apply at the Recovery Center at the Sinapolo Youth Center, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Oh, coming up, we hear from the Lieutenant Governor and his reason for not running for office.
And there's still time to register for the Northern Marianas College. Stay tuned.
The new Red Bull Dragonberry Energizer is now at McDonald's.
Impaired driving is extremely dangerous and puts everyone on the road at risk.
If only my daddy had chosen not to drink and drive. He'd be here for my birthday.
If only the other driver had chosen not to get behind the wheel high. My mom would be here for my wedding day.
If only my brother had chosen not to text and drive, he would have met his niece.
If only my best friend had chosen not to drive after being up all night studying, we'd be graduating side by side.
One choice can change everything. No one should have to say, if only. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the CNMI Department of Public Safety.
Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas Driving Range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week.
Hafaday, Zantiro. I'm Leo Pangilinan with the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. We'd like to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors who have made possible the many programs in our community like this show. We couldn't have done it without them. And if you value the work we do and would like to make a contribution to our efforts, we ask that you consider making an in-kind or cash contribution to the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. Any amount is appreciated, and donations of up to $5,000 qualify for an educational tax credit. We appreciate your partnership and support. Sidus Maasi, Olomai, and thank you.
Welcome back. You are watching the Friday night edition of the Channel 2 News.
With back-to-back storms sweeping the Marianas, the people sure do have experience with how to deal with it. COC officials share what they've learned. Officials from the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation took part in the Western Pacific American Waterworks Association conference held in Guam. The conference ran from August 12 to the 14th at the Leo Palace Resort. Ahead of the presentation, Wastewater Utility Coordinator John Santos says they're set to share how CUC prevented overflow and backflow to customers during Super Typhoon Sinlaku.
I'm going to be sharing on how we were able to manage and control overflows with limited resources. We didn't really have much generators, but we used vendors to assist us on that. And also we're going to be explaining how our fuel management, how we were able to get fuel at night from the power plants to help assist with our generators. And basically it's to show how our operators were able to manage no days off, long hours.
The role of Water Utility Coordinator Joel Hebner prior to the storm was to figure out non-revenue water. He says they learned how to monitor what different areas of Saipan were using certain amounts of water.
We were able to do that during the typhoon a little more easily since we were shutting things off and on based on water supply quantities. But we also took time to learn where, water was flowing and how much was flowing to certain villages, and does that make sense as far as how much money or how much water we're selling in those villages compared to how much water we're giving to the village. So that's kind of the whole percentage of non-revenue water equation. And we were trying to get as many customers as water as soon as possible throughout the typhoon, but we did take the time to learn, as we were doing that as well. So that's one aspect of how the typhoon impacted our job.
The two men were accompanied by two other CUC staff members, one being an engineer who also presented on the experience at the conference.
We make sure that you're able to flush. You can live without power. You might not be able to go on without water, but I don't think people can handle without wastewater. You're going to be having a lot of health issues.
If you see a leak, call the call center and make sure you report it. That helps our job.
For those who no longer have high school as part of their daily ritual, for recent graduates or not so recent graduates, Northern Marianas College is still accepting fall applications. Early this week at an NMC information session, Angel Pena.
The semester starts on September 8, but the deadline for admissions application is on August 28. And so we're really making sure that all the students are able to still apply while we're at it and making sure that they get all the necessary requirements, resources that they need to get in.
Counselors were available at the session and are still available at the college, both for financial assistance and academic advisement.
We also have our academic programs out there for our booths that we have our resource fair so that they will be able to kind of have a feel of how to communicate with their advisor or at least the admin managers within that department.
We're out here to provide some information about degree programs. We've got nursing here, liberal arts, School of Education. So they're going to get a bunch of information about starting the semester.
What do you recommend?
I recommend an education at NMC. Well, I'd recommend two things. I'd recommend, number one, that they just stop and think for a little bit about what their interests are, right? Not necessarily with respect to education per se, but just what are they interested in their lives personally? What do they find enjoyment in? What do they find excitement in? We were just sitting here talking about films and shows that we enjoy, and if that's something that somebody really loves and is interested in, then they can probably find a degree program here at NMC that will either prepare them to explore that professionally or at least give them a foundation to eventually explore that academically and or professionally.
If you are looking at the weather today and wondering whether to do something of value during stormy times in the CNMI, August 28 is the last day to register.
A great way to spend time, to obviously learn a lot about various academic pursuits, but also learn about yourself. And if they are curious about what may be available or on offer, they can always come and talk to somebody here at the college, whether it's the OAR, Office of Registration and Admissions, or one of the degree programs if they have a particular interest there. Our doors are almost always open.
A senior official on the Hill steps away from his life of service to gear energy towards strengthening the household. Lieutenant Governor Dennis Mendiola has decided not to run in this year's election. Although there are several reasons, he says the main one is because he wants to focus on a core foundation, his home.
When you decide to put yourself out there as an individual that's willing to serve and ready to serve our people, right? One of the things is that you have to ensure that, you know, your home is ready for the scrutiny, for the challenges, you know, because of course you need a rock, you know, a stable and strong household. And I can say that at this point, it's a little bit challenged. So there's a lot of challenging situation that we're facing. So I want to make sure that I take care of that first.
Mendiola took on the role of lieutenant governor and sits on the seat present day. The natural thought would be that he would run in this year's election, but he is taking a step back for now.
The charges from the Attorney General, right? That's one of the issues that I'm facing, and you know, of course, like I said in the past, I'm going to face it head on. I don't want to bring or drag the people that I love, you know, our constituent, family, into this mess, you know, and ask them to have faith in me while there's this cloud over me. So I want to make sure that I deal with that first and take care of that, you know, and take care of the household first, and you know, clear those issues up. Once I get past that, then the coming elections, you know, maybe I will run again, you know, but you know, surely time will tell.
Coming up, school action from Marianas High, Hopwood, and Saipan Southern High.
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Bring your friends in for the best night out at Godfather's Bar in Garabin. Sing along to your favorite hits with live music from the Gigolos. Godfather's has daily food and drink specials, like Taco Tuesdays. The best pizza on island every day of the week. Located on Palm Street in Garabin.
From Les Maisons of Golds, a scent born of effort, forged in sweat, and finished with just a hint of pre-workout. Introducing de Gain by Gold's Gym Saipan. This Christmas, give them something unforgettable. Gold's Gym gift certificates, because confidence never goes out of style. Gold's Gym Saipan. It's not perfume, but it will make you smell like victory.
Buenas sports fans.
Buenas, sports fans! My high school baseball coach once told me that today is the first day of the rest of your life. Well, Tuesday was also the first day of the school year. It was also Saipan Southern. The first week of school ends with a bell. Students wander purposefully towards their weekend. Are there old friends to meet up with? A bus to catch? A form to fill out before rushing home? Or, for the new students, are there new friends to find and share in a new chapter of life?
It's crazy, like how time flies. Like blink, like 1 second I was freshman walking this campus. The next I'm a senior. It's my first day, and I'm excited though. I'm really excited on what life has for me.
It's crazy to think that I'm one of the seniors that I saw like walking around the campus when I was a freshman, and yeah, I feel free a little bit now that this chapter is coming to a close.
Yeah, I'm excited now that I'm a senior. Just want to get high school over with already. Yeah.
These senior student council leaders have some advice for the incoming freshmen.
Start getting comfortable. Build bonds with teachers and staff and admins. It's gonna work out at the end, where you can just chill in their class and do good in school. If like you work hard your freshman, sophomore year, your junior, senior year, it's just gonna be a cakewalk.
Make new friends and join new clubs. Compared to middle school, I'd say high school is when I really became more open towards talking to more people and learning how to work with others. So yeah.
Make friends and become good friends with your teachers. I feel like bonds in high school are very important during high school and even after high school. It's going to matter a lot.
The school year has begun for the entire public school system in the CNMI.
To the entire CNMI PSS family, we hope you had a great first week of school, and students first and educators always.
Tuesday morning, the yellow buses rolled up, and with the first school day of the year, summer was officially over. In a land of constant summer, it is the arrival of the yellow buses that signal the change of seasons. It's the first day of school. Well, here's the weather. Tropical storm Sodol should be passing through with a 60% chance of rainfall tonight and winds up to 40 miles per hour tonight after midnight. The weekend is forecast to be stormy, CNMI, with a 90% chance of rain on Saturday with wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour. Sunday should taper off, but please be aware that there is a rip current advisory throughout the weekend and a continued storm watch. So be careful, stay dry, and we will see you in the water, well, rainwater, or on the land.
Well, that was your Friday night newscast, CNMI. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you again on Monday.